you're not already seated on your mat, have a seat and just take a moment to get tuned in. So finding that nice aligned spine. Just take a deep breath in through your nose. Big exhale through the mouth. And just settle into your skin for a moment, noticing how you feel. And start noticing from the ground up. So I want you to actually feel your sit bones and your tailbone. Feel whatever part of the back of the leg is on the floor, anything that's literally touching the ground. And then kind of feel your way up towards the top of the head from there. And you can start to deepen your breath, slow it down, maybe even slightly restrict it by doing Ujjayi breathing. Check in with thought patterns, any emotions. Notice what your energy feels like. And then let's go ahead and set an intention for practice today. So bring your palms together in front of your heart. Just take a moment and be really clear about what you most need from your practice today. When you're clear on that, take a deep breath in. And a big exhale through the mouth. And then just stay seated. So we're going to work with a couple of energies today because we have a couple of energies in the greater world that we're working with. There's been a lot of pretty chaotic wind, more for some of us than others, but definitely very windy. And in the Indian Ayurvedic tradition, that's very vata. And so what happens is it can make us very scattered or agitated. So the antidote to that is to kind of get rooted and grounded. So we're going to work very much with grounding energy today. And we also have a full moon coming up over the weekend. So we're going to work with some solar energy. So you're going to be working with both your root chakra, Muladhara chakra, and your solar plexus today, Manipura chakra. So just so that you know, kind of the abs and the pelvis, that's our point of reference today. So at the beginning, I asked you to feel your way from the ground up. I want you to just take a moment, still in your seated position, and feel your sit bones again. That's the base of the pelvis. When you feel your sit bones slightly back and up just a bit is your tailbone, the base of your spine. I want you to see if you can sense where your tailbone is and imagine that that's also connecting down to the earth, almost like you're growing roots through your tailbone and your sit bones. You feel very connected to the ground. And I'm going to keep reminding you to notice that. When you do notice that, it's almost like an anchor. It just keeps you steady and keeps you rooted. So before we get up and get moving, since it is also a solar practice, I'm going to have you guys do one round of Kapalabhati breathing. So that's that forceful abdominal contraction. Now we're not going to go super fast and we're not going to go super long. It's primarily designed to wake up your midsection. So just a reminder, abdomen has to be long. It's all through the nose, unless you're suffering from allergies right now, in which case you are exempt. And it's a forceful contraction of the abdomen to press the air out. And when you relax the abdominal muscles, the air automatically comes in. So it's a very active exhale, passive inhale. Here we go. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe all of your air out through your nose. Breathe in again. This time, just breathe half of the air out and begin Kapalabhati. Big inhale, reach your arms up, spread your fingers. Exhale, bring your hands down and go straight onto your hands and knees. I want you to be very conscious now of your midsection, right around your navel, as you're doing these cat-cow stretches. So as you inhale, that solar plexus area, your navel drops, and as you exhale, it lifts and rounds. Inhale, belly drops. Exhale, belly contracts and pulls up. Do that a couple more times. And then on your next exhale, go ahead and take your first child's pose. Just round your back. As you get into your child's pose, whether it's traditional or extended child's pose, I want you to come back into awareness of the parts of you literally touching the ground. Your forehead is grounded. The front part of your lower legs, your shins are grounded. If you're in traditional child's pose, the back of the hands are grounded. And then let's go ahead and scoot forward into Sphinx. We're going to traction the spine the way we normally do. But first, just again, be aware of what's touching the ground. The front part of your pelvis, the top of the thighs, the top of the feet, your forearms, your hands, and then just go ahead and pull a little bit of length into your low back. And then let's move into downward facing dog. And so of course you can pedal the feet a little bit if you need to. And then as you do find stillness, think about plugging your hands into the earth, almost as though you're growing roots from the centers of the palms of your hands all the way down. And then feel the bottoms of each toe. Feel the balls of the feet. The heels are reaching down. They may not be touching the ground, but they're moving in that direction. Go ahead and walk your feet forward. Keep your knees bent. Come into your ragdoll. Just hang and drape. And then inhale, reach the arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. And then release your hands down. So we're going to take a moment really connecting and rooting in Tadasana and engaging our core. So the first thing I want you to do is just lift all of your toes up, spread them out, and plant them down. And then come into balance, if possible, of equal weight distribution between the base of your little toe, the base of your big toe, and the center of your heel. Once you get that equal weight distribution between left foot and right foot, when you get that and you feel very rooted through your feet, then we're going to lift the sternum, tuck the bottom part of the rib cage in, feel the core engage. Imagine that your whole waist is just squeezing in to hug your spine. Balance your head on top of your spine, let a little bit of energy run through your fingers, and slightly rotate your palms forward. And just pause for a moment and notice that sense of stability and steadfastness. You are still, you are stable, you are immovable, much like the mountain that this pose is named after. So when we stand in this kind of energy, it doesn't matter how chaotic the wind or the world is, we're really rooted in our own center. Palms together in front of the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold all the way forward and get your fingertips at least to the ground. Remember, we want to ground and root. And then inhale and look up halfway. And then back down. Step back with your left foot. Hold your lunge for a moment. Take your right hand up towards the ceiling. Bring your right hand back down. Drop your left knee and fully extend your right leg. And once you find the hamstring stretch on the right side, again, just become aware of the parts of you connected to your mat and underneath that to the earth. Bend your right knee and come up. I want you to put your left hand on your right thigh. I want you to reach your right arm behind you and look over your right shoulder. Tuck the tailbone and let the hips move forward. Bring both hands down to the mat. You're gonna step forward to a standing forward bend. Inhale and reach the arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Lift your toes, spread them, plant them. Get that equal weight distribution between the 3 points of each foot and the left foot and the right foot. Engage your core. Other side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Get at least the fingertips to the ground. And then look up and lengthen. And back down. Now we're going to step back with our right foot. Hold your lunge. Really let that right hand connect down as you take your left hand up towards the ceiling. Bring that left hand back down outside the left foot. Drop your right knee. Fully extend your left leg. Flex your ankle and toes and then connect down. So for me, I'm aware of my right knee, the toes of my right foot, my left heel and my hands, and I'm staying rooted and connected. Bend your left knee. Come up with your right hand on top of your left thigh. Your left arm is going to reach behind you and you're going to look at it and then let your hips move forward. From here, hands down, step forward to your standing forward bend. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. Again, lift your toes, spread them out, plant them. You know what to do. Distribute your weight evenly and engage your core. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale and look up. And exhale back down. You're going to step back with your left foot. I want you to spin that left heel flat. Come up into warrior 2. Just hold this for a moment, really engaging your core. So I want you to feel those muscles hugging your spine. I want you to feel equal weight distribution on both feet and between big toe, little toe, and base of the heel. Left hand on your left thigh. Take your right arm up and over. Reverse your warrior. Come back up. Take your right forearm onto your right thigh. Take your left arm up and over for easy side angle. Those of you that would like to go a little deeper, please feel free to take your right hand to the mat inside your right ankle. And then from here, we're going to bring our hands down to the mat. Those of you doing full vinyasas, you may take one now. The rest of us are going to come onto our hands and knees and move into child's pose.
Connecting our forehead to the ground, our knees, our hands, our feet. Scooting in the Sphinx, connecting the front part of the pelvis and thighs to the ground, as well as our forearms. And then bringing the hands back and really plugging them into the earth, rooting down as we find downward facing dog. And again, once you're in your down dog, really connect. So even in downward facing dog, you want to feel equal weight distribution between base of the big toe, base of the little toe. Maybe the heels, if the heels are on the mat, maybe not. That's fine. And then I want you to go ahead and walk your feet forward to a standing forward bend. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of your heart. You know where we're going. Lift your toes, spread them out. Root down, engage your core. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. And exhale, back down. Step back with your right foot. Go ahead and spin that heel flat and come up into your warrior two. Find your alignment and then find that equal weight. You can think of it as equal energy, right? On the 3 points of each foot, and make sure you have equal weight distribution between left and right foot. Right hand to right thigh, left arm up and over, reverse your warrior. Come all the way back up. Bring left forearm to left thigh, right arm up and over for an easy side angle. Those of you that would like to go deeper, connect your left hand to the earth on the inside of the left ankle. From here, you can just bring your hands down. We're gonna step back onto hands and knees. Those of you doing your vinyasas, off you go. And take a child's pose again. Connecting back down, rooting back down. Scooting forward into Sphinx. Connecting the front side of the body to the earth. And then rooting through hands and feet for downward facing dog. Really connect downward. Walk your feet forward. Big inhale, arms up. Exhale, palms together in front of the heart. So before we balance, I'm gonna have you guys do a stomach lift. So we're playing with keeping the core engaged and alive. I think most of you guys did this with me in class in the past, but just a reminder, it requires that you breathe all of your air out and for just a second or two only, not breathe back in. That's the hardest part of it, is to not breathe back in. So I'm gonna recommend that once we get all of the air out of our lungs, that we do Jalandhara Bandha, which is a chin lock. You're gonna tuck your chin into your chest. It would make it very hard to breathe back in. But here's what's gonna happen. We'll breathe in, we'll breathe all of the air out. So take a moderately wide step and slightly rotate your feet out, because once you breathe all of your air out, you're gonna push into bent knees to lift your chest, which will create a vacuum. All of this down here is gonna feel like it's flying up into your rib cage, hence the name Uddiyana, which means flying up. So flying up block. It's a stomach lift, basically. You'll hold that for like a second, maybe two, and then relax your stomach and breathe in. So let's give it a shot, all right? You can either start standing up if your knees are tweaky, or you can go ahead and lean onto your thighs with bent knees, whatever makes you happy. I like to start here. Here we go, breathe in. Breathe all of your air out, all of it out. Once your lungs are empty, tuck your chin into your chest, lift your rib cage, and then relax and breathe in. So what you should have felt like, I always say you should feel like a greyhound, regardless of size or shape or core strength or anything. What happens, because you've created a vacuum up here, this goes very concave. Some people say it feels like their navel is rubbing against their spine. So now that you kind of know what we're doing, we're going to do this 2 more times. You're going to go at your own breath rate. You don't hold your breath out for very long. You don't get extra points for that. In fact, it's not good for you. Just a couple of seconds, and you relax your stomach and breathe back in. So let's do it 2 more times. Here we go. As you finish out, go ahead and come on back up. You can roll your shoulders back, give yourself a couple of wrist circles if you need them. And then just come back to a nice erect position. So our balance pose today is simply an extended leg in front of us, sometimes called head to knee pose, but that's a bit of a misnomer, particularly for us because I want us to stay upright. So here are the modifications for those of you who have tight hamstrings. Your leg needs to be extended, the one that's lifted. So if you can't grab behind your thigh, you can grab your pants, you can grab behind your calf, you can grab your foot. If you have a strap handy and you need to use it, that's fine, but you should be able to do it by hanging onto your thigh or even your pants. But we want that extended leg straight, and we want our torso vertical. All we're going to do is all the same stuff we've been doing in Tadasana, engaging the core, spreading the foot, but we're just going to pick one foot up off the ground. So the reason that's important is a lot of people start to raise a leg and a hip goes out and they're hanging and they're off center. We're not going to do that. We're going to remain perfectly upright. Okay, so we're going to begin standing on the right foot. Whatever you need to grab on the left side is fine, but try and keep your core engaged. Your right foot should be very rooted and your left leg should be very straight. So off you go. You can grab your thigh, you can grab your pants, you can certainly grab a strap if you've got one, but your left leg should be straight. Your torso is as vertical as you can get it. Your core is very engaged. And your right foot has grown such deep roots that you feel solid, stable, and strong. Release your left foot down and take a breath. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Core strength is just as important in balance as ankle mobility and everything else. So it's really nice to have that part of our body awake. So let's go ahead and spread the toes of the left foot, get that good rooted connection, engage the core like we've been doing in Tadasana, and then just find whatever you need to grab on your right leg and remain stable and engaged and upright. And then release your right foot back down. So back at the front of the mat, feet close together, lift your toes up, spread them out, plant them down, engage your core, align yourself, palms together. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look up halfway. And then exhale back down. You're going to move back onto hands and knees. Do a couple more of those cat-cow stretches like we did at the beginning of class. Inhaling to arch. Exhaling to round. And then just pause in neutral. So we're going to do just basic traditional threading the needle, no fancy stuff today. Just take your right arm underneath you, Press with that left hand to kind of roll into your right shoulder blade. Come into awareness of the parts of you connected to the earth. So both knees, the tops of both feet, and your left hand, as well as your right arm, are very rooted. You should feel super stable here. Then notice that you've got a little bit of compression around your solar plexus because this is actually a twist. Come on out of that. Plant your right hand. So again, you're rooted through both hands. Now we'll take the left arm under. Push and roll a little bit with that right hand to get that stretch across the back of the left shoulder blade, but feel all the places that you're rooted to the earth, and then feel that engagement in your midsection. And then come on out of that. Those of you doing vinyasas, you may take one last one. The rest of us are going to do a last child's pose. And then scoot forward into Sphinx. And then come into your downward facing dog. So I want you to feel very rooted and connected in your down dog. Really feel the palms of the hands and whatever part of your feet are touching the mat, rooting down, because before we come to Dandasana, we're going to do one stomach lift here. So take a deep breath in, breathe all of your air out, and then lift. Relax your stomach, breathe in, and as you exhale, you can just walk your feet forward and have a seat. Let's come into Dandasana. So with hands right behind the backside, we can come into that same straight spine, but I want your body to basically feel like Tadasana. So you feel your sit bones, you feel your tailbone. You're very rooted through the backs of the legs and the heels as well. Your chest lifts, but the bottom part of the rib cage tucks in, so your core is very engaged. And just pause like that for a moment as you check in with your body, your breath, your mind, your heart, your energy. Just notice if your energy felt a little scattered before, notice if you feel more grounded. Notice if you don't. If you already felt grounded, maybe there's no change. And then we're going to keep the right leg straight and bring the left foot to the inside of the right thigh. I want you to just lean out over your right leg. Notice how the base of the pelvis, the outer edge of your left leg, and the back of your right leg keep you very stable and rooted. And then earlier, you were balancing on one leg, extending one leg straight up. Well, wherever your hands are right now is the perfect place to keep them. We're going to pick the right leg up and lift our heart for Kanchasana, modified heron. What I'd like you to focus on here is that same sense of rooting down through the sit bones and tailbone, right? Core is engaged, so your spine is very straight. All the muscles around your spine are hugging in. So you're not hunching around your back here. Very tall and straight, just like that balance pose. Then we're going to take this right foot and put it down outside the left knee or thigh. And I'd like you to be very mindful of getting the entire right foot on the ground. In fact, feel equal weight distribution on this right foot between base of big toe, base of little toe, and center of heel. By the way, it's fine if your right bun lifts up. That's okay. That's your body self-adjusting. So then you lift your chest. You bring your right hand behind you, and you initiate a nice twist. Now, once you get twisted, here's the deal. It's beautifully centered, right?
You've got your right foot very rooted and grounded. You've got your right hand very rooted and grounded. You've got your spine lifted and twisted. So you've got that engagement, that activation around your solar plexus, your center, and yet you're also very rooted. Go ahead and unwind from this. Extend your legs, both of them. Give them a good wiggle. And then keep your left leg straight. Bring your right foot to the inside of your left thigh and lean out of your left leg. Sorry about the change in camera angle. The cat is loving on the tripod. From here, go ahead and raise your left leg up. Make sure that you are rooted through your sit bones, that your core is very engaged. Oh my goodness. My apologies. You just never know what's going to happen in this house, right? Sorry about that. So you're still in heron pose, and it is your right leg that's up in the air. We're going to bring, oh my goodness, sorry, it's your left leg that's up in the air. We're going to bring that down outside. Sorry about that. Let me get back to where I was. You're going to bring your left foot outside your right knee or thigh. Really root that left foot down through the base of the little toe, the base of the big toe, and the center of the heel. And then your left hand is going to reach around behind you and also root down. And then you initiate your twist. So you should feel engagement in your midsection. You should feel very rooted through the sole of your left foot and the palm of your left hand. And then unwind completely and extend both legs. Give them a good wiggle. And then we're going to come into boat pose for a couple of rounds. The first one we're just going to do very basic. If you have back issues, your second one will also be very basic. If your back and your core can handle it, we'll add in a twist. So grab behind your thighs, lift your chest. So you want that same core engagement, right? The midsection is hugged in so that your spine is long, and you're going to lift your feet up off the ground and extend your arms. For some of you, this is it, because it's really important to keep the spine straight and not round the back. Some of you will be able to extend your legs straight. Also good, but it's completely up to whatever's best for your body. Take 2 more breaths, slow ones. And then we'll bring the feet back down. Now, this next time, I'm going to have you rotating, which will engage obliques, sides of the waist. So if the last round of boat pose was challenging for you, you might want to just repeat a basic boat. Otherwise, here we go. Grab behind your thighs, lift your chest, lift your feet, extend your arms. And if you're extending your legs, that's cool. Otherwise, palms of the hands together. And I want you to rotate to the left. Keep your chest lifted, hold that twist. And then rotate to the right. Keep the chest lifted. Come back to the center. 2 more breaths. And lower down. Good. Allow the soles of the feet together to come together. Make sure that you're on your sit bones. And then I'm going to have you bring your hands right behind your backside. So lift the chest. Again, core is engaged. Straight spine. Knees press out to the side and then reach down for the ground. So just taking a moment here to feel again, where are you rooted? Outsides of the ankles, outside edges of the feet. Some of you, the entire outside edge of each leg. Some of us, maybe it's one leg but not the other. Some of us, maybe we're not feeling the outside edge of the leg on the ground. It's just the sit bones and the hands, but that's fine. We're rooted through certain points and it matters. Go ahead and extend your legs wide. Flex your feet, make sure they're pointing towards the ceiling. If you need to keep your hands behind you, perfect. If you would rather have the hands in front of you, that's fine. Today we are going to have them on the ground. So if you normally grab your feet, root through the palms of your hands, either behind your hips or on the ground in front of you. And yet again, lengthen the spine. So keep your core engaged. We don't want the back to round. We're just trying to keep lots of length and stability in the spine. So when we root correctly and connect to the earth, it helps us stay strong in our center, strong in our core. Go ahead and walk your hands back up. Bring your legs together. Give them a good wiggle. And then we're coming down onto the back. So if you can, bend your knees, have your feet flat, and take an exceptionally long time to roll your back down. And if you cannot, then just go ahead and plunk onto your back and you can hug your knees and rock side to side. But it's a nice way to really practice keeping core engaged. If you can lower yourself extra slowly. And then we'll all hug our knees in and rock side to side. So we're gonna do a little more core work. I'm pretty sure you had figured that out. We're gonna do some anaforest twisted root. So the way that starts is a very tight crossing of the legs. We're gonna take the right thigh very tightly over the left thigh. And then lift the left foot up off the floor. So your calves are parallel to the ground. I want you to interlace your fingers behind your neck, but point your elbows at the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath, flatten your back into the mat, and then exhale, bringing elbows towards thighs, squeezing thighs, emptying your lungs, inhaling down. One more time, hold the breath, flatten the back, exhale, crunch up, squeeze your thighs together, empty your lungs, keep your back flat, and then inhale down. Now, keep your legs in the position they're in. Put one hand on top of the other and place it dead center in the middle of your top thigh, which should be your right thigh. And we're gonna keep the head on the ground. That's real important too. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath, flatten your back. Now exhale, push against your right thigh, but don't let it move. Head stays down, back stays flat. Thighs are squeezing, lungs are emptying. And then release. Put your left foot back down on the mat. If you need to unwind the legs to make this a gentler twist, this is the point to do it. Otherwise, right arm opens out to the right, drop both of your knees to the left. So we want a deep twist if possible. This might be too much for some of you, in which case you just uncross the legs. If you can, your head turns to the right, and you want to come back into awareness of your midsection. You were just working it pretty hard, so you should feel it. So aside from keeping us literally centered, this solar plexus area is also a solar energy area. And so that helps counteract this full moon energy that we have going on. Bring your legs back up. Keep them crossed if they're crossed. Pick your left foot up off the ground. Draw 3 big circles in the air with your knees in each direction. This is kind of like a nice thank you to your body for what it just endured on the right side. And as you finish your 3 circles in each direction, you can uncross your legs and just hug the knees. Rock side to side. And then, yes, we're going to do it all again on the other side. So go ahead and put your feet flat on the mat, knees are bent. Left thigh tightly crosses right thigh. Right leg extends into the air so that your knees are at about 90 degrees. Your calves are parallel to the floor.
Interlace your fingers behind your neck. We'll point the elbows at the ceiling. Here we go. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath, flatten your back. Exhale, crunch, crunch, crunch towards your thighs. Keep your back flat, squeeze the knees, empty the lungs. Inhale down. Hold your breath, flatten your back. Exhale and crunch. Inhale down, keep the head down. One hand on top of the other, on top of your left thigh. So that right foot's still in the air. Take a big inhale. Hold your breath, flatten your back. Exhale, press against your thigh, but don't let it move. Squeeze the knees, keep your back flat into your lungs. Just one more inhale. Hold your breath, flatten your back. Exhale, press, press, press. So technically this is an isometric contraction and release. Keep the thighs crossed, put your right foot back down on the mat. So again, if you're modifying, uncross your legs now so you don't do anything bad to your back. If you have a happy back, keep the knees crossed, drop them to the right. Let your left arm open out to the left and take some deep, slow breaths. One more breath here. Full awareness of that center section of the torso. And then go ahead and bring the legs back up. Keep those knees crossed if they are. Lift your right foot up off the ground. 3 big circles in the air in each direction with your knees. As you finish that out, you can uncross your legs, hug your knees in, and rock side to side for a moment. So we're going to do bridge for our inversion today. And it's super important to keep that sense of connectedness, of rootedness to the ground. So when you bring your big toes to touch and your heels to separate, once you get that, I want you to lift your toes up, spread them out, and plant them down. I want you to come back into awareness of equal weight distribution between the base of the big toe, the base of the little toe, and the center of the heel. Palms flat by your hips today. So again, we're staying rooted, right? So I want you to spread your fingers and have flat palms. Then go ahead and lift the hips up. So if you're paying attention to your back, you can be in a neutral bridge. If your back is a little happier, then you're really lifting the hips and the rib cage, but you're staying fully rooted through your feet, those 3 points on each foot. And then you also feel the palms of your hands and the back of your head. And slowly lower down. Hug your knees into your chest and rock side to side. So I want you to keep your right knee hugged into your chest. Go ahead and extend your left leg all the way out onto the floor. Bring your right hand to the inside of your right leg and find the arch of your right foot. We're coming into the right half of dead bug. Now, interestingly enough, your right palm and the arch of your right foot should be touching. So it's like you can root and connect to yourself here. So these are 2 energy centers, right? So I want you to really feel the arch of your right foot, how it responds to the energy in the palm of your right hand. Hold this for one more breath. And then I want you to go ahead and extend your right leg as straight as you can get it. That may mean that it's not up. That might mean that it's out towards your left foot. But once you get it as straight as you can, grab whatever you can. That could be your pants, it could be your thigh, your calf, or your foot, but I want you to have that right leg as straight as possible. Both hips very connected to the mat. So this is exactly what we did standing on one leg earlier, except now you're lying on your back, so you don't have to worry about falling over. And then just hug your right knee one more time. Bring the left knee up to meet it. And extend your right leg all the way out into the ground. And then bring your left hand to the inside of your left leg. Grab the arch of your left foot and come into the left half of dead bug. And again, think about this, right? So we root through the earth, but we ourselves conduct energy, right? So you're actually making an energy circuit with the palm of your right hand and the arch of your, left hand and the arch of your left foot. And so as you're pulling that foot down, just feel that connection between the palm of the hand and the arch of the foot. And then go ahead and extend your left leg as straight as you can get it. Grab whatever it is that you can reach, the thigh, the calf, the foot. Feel free to use the strap. Feel free to grab your pants if that's a necessity. Try and have your leg as straight as possible, and then really feel the back side of your pelvis, both hips really grounded. And then hug the left knee in. Bring your right knee up to meet it. Give yourself a good side to side rock. And then grab the outside edges of your feet. Explore for a few breaths in Happy Baby. And then when you're ready, I'd like you to place your feet on the mat, nice and flat, ankles and knees together, and just pause for a moment. So rooting back down again through the feet before we do anything else. Feel the base of the big toe, base of the little toe in the center of the heel of both feet. And then it's going to be a small movement because I want you to keep the soles of the feet rooted to your mat. Don't let them come up. As you exhale, both knees drop a little to the right. They're not going to go very far because I want you to keep your feet rooted. Inhale the knees back up. Exhale, drop them to the left. Keep the feet rooted. Do that 2 more times on each side with your feet really rooted. So again, it's a very small movement. Then I want you to go ahead and go full on movement, which means as the knees drop to the right, the left foot's probably going to come up. And then go the other way. As the knees drop to the left, the right foot's going to come up. And I want you to notice the difference in your energy when that happens. Just notice the difference of feeling rooted. You should still feel centered, but there's less rooting. So I just want you to be really tuned into that subtle energy. Go one more time on each side. And then the next time that you're at the center, allow your knees to drop open and bring the soles of the feet together. So this is no different than when I had you do half dead bug, right? I had you have a hand on a foot. Now your feet are connected. The soles of the feet are connected. And as you know, those are energy conduits. So again, you're completing a circuit. And this one actually goes through your midsection, your solar plexus. So I want you to just pause here for a moment, not doing anything. I want you to feel the area around your navel. I want you to feel where the soles of your feet connect. And just feel that diamond shape that's made by your bent knees, your feet connecting, and your navel would be the top part of your diamond. And then let's just lengthen the back one time here. So breathe in, press your low back into the mat, hold it. And then the next time you exhale, extend your legs, separate your feet. Get yourself into your most comfortable Shavasana position. And then once all your body parts are exactly where you want them, take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Completely relax. You should feel incredibly solid and stable here because you're lying on your back. But let's check in with the parts that are touching the earth. The back of your head, the back of the shoulders, backs of the arms, the backs of the hands, your upper back and mid back a little bit around the shoulder blades, your glutes, so the back side of your hips, the backs of your legs, and the heels. All of that's really connected to the floor, and beneath the floor, the earth. So just taking another couple of breaths, really feeling the backside of your body touching your mat or the floor. Let that be, just like the hips were in a seated position, let that be your anchor. Everything touching the ground anchors you to the earth, keeps you rooted, keeps you grounded. And I want you to start feeling all the parts of you that are not touching the floor. And I want you to notice that unless you are in contact with either clothing or a piece of furniture or something, it's actually pretty hard to determine exactly where you stop and the rest of the world begins. It's very hard to actually feel our edges without connection to something else. So I want you to capitalize on that and allow that idea of a separate you and the rest of the world to dissolve, so that there is no division between the front side of you and the rest of the world. The back side of you is still solidly anchored to the earth. But basically, the front side of you has now expanded and is infinite. There is no edge, there is no limit or boundary on the front of you. As much as you're comfortable with that, I want you to explore outward from the front of your body. And so what this teaches us is that we can be rooted, we can be grounded, we can be centered, and we can be spacious and vast. Begin to feel back into your body on the mat, the parts of you that can feel the mat. Then begin to move your fingers and toes. By virtue of movement, you begin to become more aware of the upper edges of your body. Deepen your breath. And when you're ready, take an extra deep inhale, spread your fingers and toes. Exhale through your mouth as you relax them, and then take an even deeper inhale and stretch, stretch, stretch. And again, exhale and relax. Bend your knees, roll to your right side, and then press up into sitting.
And of course, as you come to your seated position, I'd like you to really connect your sit bones and your tailbone downward, get very rooted, and engage your core to lengthen your spine upward. So for our ending pranayama, our breath work, we're actually going to be doing 2 different breath patterns. We're going to do one more short round of Kapalabhati to really finish firing up our midsection. And then we're going to do one round of Surya Vedana, which is a solar breath to kind of counteract the lunar energies. So lengthen through the abdomen, relax your shoulders, breathe in through your nose, breathe out completely through the nose. Breathe in again. Breathe half of the air out and begin Kapalabhati breathing. Big inhale, arms up. Spread your fingers, and then exhale, just float your arms down. You can leave your left hand on your knee or thigh. Your right hand, you're gonna reach across your nose. You can use any finger today, doesn't matter. You're gonna block your left nostril with some finger of your right hand and simply breathe slow, deep breaths in and out through your right nostril only. And then just finish out the breath you're on. Let your right hand rest down. Just pause for a moment. And then bring your palms together in front of your heart. As you bring your palms together, again, you're completing an energy circuit. I want you to feel your sit bones connecting down, rooting you to the earth. I want you to feel your heart lifting up and the bottom points of your rib cage pulling in, keeping you centered in your center and grounded. And then just take a moment in gratitude. Gratitude that we have this practice that helps us manipulate our energies. Or another way to think of it is, it's a good way for us to control and either power up, or in this case, power down our central nervous system. We can change our physiology as well as our psychology by using this practice. And so what's not to be grateful for? Take one more huge inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Palms to the forehead, just as a reminder to be present. Palms to the mouth, reminding us to speak our truth. Palms to the heart, reminding us to keep our hearts open, to always practice kindness, compassion, and love. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste. Thank you guys. I apologize for the antics of Shams, my cat, but really, I couldn't have asked for a better representation of the energy that we're working with right now. That craziness that you saw is pretty much the combination of all this wild wind and an upcoming full moon. You probably know people in your life that act like that. And so aren't we lucky that we're yogis and we can control ourselves? So